This is Maurice Jones-Drew, and you're listening to the What's Bruin Show.
You're listening to the What's Bruin Show, part of the What's Bruin Show network, with your hosts, Jake Berryfield and Mike Regalado, and occasionally some friends, talking all things UCLA sports. And now, it's time for the What's Bruin Show.
Well, hello, and welcome to What's Bruin. I am your host, Jake Merrill. I'm joined by my good buddy. It's
Iron Mike
Regalado.
That's me.
He's over there. He's from Bruin Report Online.
Bro.
And he's here to talk about some football stuff, I guess. And I'm like, hey, Mike, do you want to do a podcast today? He's like, yeah. I said, okay, I don't know why, but I guess we should do it. So he's here.
Honestly, I was kind of planning to anyway because I thought the scheduling.
He did show up in my cul-de-sac with a six-pack, ready to roll. So I had something to do.
Yeah, but we might have. Personally, I thought that this episode was going to be different, but yes. That's TBD.
A possible, interview,
TBD.
possibly.
TBD. Yes. So no, that hasn't come to fruition as of yet. Obviously, we're already recording, so
that's okay.
Still, stuff to talk about. I'm down.
It's okay. So it's the What's Bruin Show on the What's Bruin Show Network. Thank you for your support. What's Bruin Show at gmail.com for any of your emails. You can also subscribe to the show, send us a little bit of support, help us float around the great waters of Bruin sports talk. That's what'sbruin.substack.com or patreon.com/what'sbruinshow or just what'sbruinshow.com for how much, Mike?
$2.
Or give or take. And then we're on YouTube as well. Just search What's Bruin Show. Look for the UCLA stuff. And you can also call the hotline, 805-399-4WBS.
Sucker in
Troy. I wanted Michael Castillo to go to Santa Barbara with me on Saturday, but he didn't. He wanted to watch his dogs instead. So he's a dick.
Weirdo.
But Alicia, on May the 4th be with you, went and saw Star Wars at the Industrial Light Magic Warehouse, apparently. So that's kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's kind of fun. Mike, did you do anything for May the 4th be with you?
No. The kids and I saw the movie Andor, Rogue One. We saw Rogue One.
That's a good one.
Yeah, freaking! I absolutely love that. It gets better and better every single time I see it. But not really. Although I did start listening to that podcast that you sent us this morning from the Rewatchables.
Yeah. That's a fun one. It's like 4 hours of.
Yeah, I know. Like 15 minutes into it, it's like geeking out. I'm like, all right, guys, get to the point. But then it's a slow roll into what they actually want to talk about, especially with not only the lore and the mythology within the movie, but how the movie itself has it's basically a freaking monster.
I was thinking about this for my What's Bruin. We'll just lead with this instead. And yeah, and they had a couple things that were probably wrong in that, the whole assumption that George Lucas knew what he was doing when he went from 1 to 2 to 3.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty much bullshit, and you can kind of just tell that from watching 1 and then watching 2 and 3. 4, 5, and 6, obviously. Sequentially, the first 2 movies that came out. And one of my favorite books about Star Wars is called The Secret History of Star Wars. I listened to it on Audible, and it's a great listen, and it just talks about his whole thought process, George Lucas, all the way through from the beginning, all the way through Return of the Jedi, and the things that he said before, during, and after those movies, and how they kind of are consistent or inconsistent. So if you care about, how that story was developed, it's a big, long book just about that. So highly recommend. Secret History of Star Wars. So anyways, Mike, with that being said, we're, I don't know, we got a few things to talk about. The main thing that happened in the last week was the spring showcase, which you were at, which your kids were at, and they were crossing out like rival gangsters, crossing out graffiti on the wall, which is pretty awesome. We actually probably should, put that on the Substack or something.
Oh man, my kids would kill me. I don't care.
Some doofus decided to write USC on a chalk wall, and your girls went over there and crossed that shit out.
Yeah,
they did not write cross it and put a 187 them on there. They just crossed it out.
No, it was just funny because I didn't say anything, and they noticed this one guy just slowly walking away, proud of his little art. Punk. He put up so there was this chalkboard where people can come and sign and put your name or whatever, go Bruins, blah blah blah. This was in the outer ring of the Rose Bowl before you go in before you go into the stadium. And so it was off to the left where there were games for kids to play, like inflatable, throw the football through the target games and stuff like that. So my girls noticed this guy writing USC, and they're like, you see what he did? Did you see what he did? I'm like, well, whatever. And they kept looking at him. Like, I'm like, what are you doing? And
Like looking hard.
all of a sudden, I'm like,
What's up? What's up, fool?
Yeah.
What's up, fool?
Right? Yeah, my girls.
I love that.
And then
Probably
I'm
violent.
like,
very, very violent. Talk
very,
about it.
they are kind of scheming. I'm like, what are you doing? So I pull out my phone, and sure enough, they're kind of like looking and like hiding. And when the guy's out of view, my daughter goes in and crosses out the USC and then runs out
away.
like she just stole a 6-pack from
What it reminded me of,
7-Eleven.
it reminded me of like two like rabbits or maybe two does like walking out into the middle of the forest and like running back, or like walking out into the open and then running back. It was pretty fun. Very cute, very lovely. I love that.
But I did take a picture. Oh, I didn't. I don't think I sent it to you. I took a picture in chalk of me writing, written What's Bruin Show.
Oh, there you go.
Yes,
Nice, Mikey.
Exactly.
Okay, well, with that in mind, then why don't we just get right to the spring showcase then?
Blue 32, Blue 32, California, hey! Football.
Okay, Mike. So you went out for the showcase. What were your thoughts? What'd you think?
Ultimately, it seems like the offense is flowing pretty nicely, despite the fact that
There's no quarterback.
they had 87,000 quarterbacks as QB1 this spring. And the eventual QB1 didn't even throw a football in a UCLA jersey this spring. But for the most part, I do like what is happening. In Deshaun Foster is praising the offensive line, especially behind Andy Kwan, the new offensive line coach. And yeah, they're doing a pretty decent job. Again, this is only spring, but they're protecting their quarterbacks. The run game has improved.
Which could also mean they don't have a defensive line, because that's certainly an open question.
Yeah, definitely. Especially usually in spring, defenses do a better job, which they did for the most part. I would say the defense had their way with the offense, but it wasn't as brutal as it was the first week. And the thing about all of this is that I guess my final takeaway from all of this is that things are kind of looking up. Before the whole Nico Iamaleava news, UCLA fans were basically like, what is going to happen? Is this going to be a 4 or 5 win team? Are they going to struggle?
UCLA's always been pretty soft.
I don't like the fucking UCLA guys. Sorry.
Wow.
Where is the energy and excitement coming from with UCLA football?
Really, UCLA was a lot worse than I thought.
Yeah.
12 games, UCLA. That's how many you have to play at a high level. Not 9.
The story of
UCLA football
was the mass proliferation of disillusionment happened.
I don't think anybody cares about UCLA football.
It doesn't feel like there's any excitement for UCLA football.
That's kind of the off season.
That was essentially
right up until
the pre-spring. Yeah, pre-spring off season. And then people are kind of looking UCLA's way. Now, I did happen upon a article by a one Miss Alicia De Artola from Fansided. She was talking about
UCLA one.
She was trying to mock the
I
trade.
was actively rooting for UCLA today, and it makes me feel dirty.
And yeah, I get that. I get that too. But she was talking about how bizarre, but yet maybe how perfect this trade situation was with Nico coming from Tennessee to UCLA.
Yeah.
And then immediately what was going to be quarterback one, Joey Aguilar, going from UCLA to Tennessee.
We should have the Penguin on next week to talk about that. That's good.
Well, my point, the point where I agreed with her is that UCLA has the better quarterback, but Tennessee has the better situation. And how is that going to translate for both? Either way, Joey Aguilar, whether he can or can't handle the offense at Tennessee, that's a good team. They are a lot deeper and more talented right now than UCLA is. But there is freaking hope. There is a new hope in the form of a Nico Skywalker Iamaleava, who is he's just injected some life. He hasn't thrown a ball. He hasn't put on a uniform. I mean, maybe aside from a team photo or whatnot, individual photos. But yeah, he hasn't thrown a ball in a UCLA uniform in a proper game yet. But that's still something to be excited about. One, because he's probably the best quarterback since DTR. Hands down, he's the best quarterback since DTR in a UCLA
So it's
uniform.
not really a stretch there, but
Yeah, exactly. Not too long ago either, but the offense, as you say, your guy Fredo, who kind of made the offense way too complicated.
That's Eric Bieniemy, who ruined UCLA's offense last year.
Very much so.
So we remember.
It will be something
Put him on a
different,
boat.
something that Deshaun Foster said he was not really worried about Nico taking extra time to get up to speed, because basically
they're not doing rocket science.
They're
doing
exactly
what other college football teams do.
Yeah,
which is a digestible offense that people can actually learn and execute in a couple months.
And
what?
And that can be called in like 3 or 4 words rather than a paragraph. So that's really exciting. I was excited about the Sinceri hire, and I thought that he was going to be good for Aguilar. This just puts UCLA on a different plane, and honestly,
we hope.
Yeah, definitely we hope. But yeah, it's something to finally be, excited about. I do like where the defense is going. But UCLA did lose some big dogs on defense. But if the offense can be simplified enough, or at least simplified to where they can add more and game plan every week and build off of that offense, I think they are going to be in a really good position next year. And that is not something I thought I would feel by the end of spring. But here we are, and as Jake always says, hope springs eternal, and there's some light at the end of the tunnel, at the end of the summer, and we should be able to see, at the very least, I'm hoping a fun offense. I would like it to be productive, but hey, first year for everybody, for most of these people on offense.
No, I think that's absolutely fair, and I don't see how it can't be fun at this point, given that there's a lot of new blood, right? So at the very least, for the first couple games, I think there's too many things pointing in a good direction. Obviously, the offensive line could be just total crap because they played like crap last year, but I still would maintain that their offensive line was pretty good for many years before that.
Yeah.
Not spectacular, but pretty good, and they could run the ball very, very effectively under the systems that Chip Kelly put in place. And all of a sudden, you put in a coach that is not very good at coaching a college football offense, and he completely ruined the offense. And lo and behold, the offensive linemen that they had that previously, many of them could run block very well. All of a sudden they can't block a soul. I think that the offensive line disaster last year was much more the result of the horrible offense than it was a deficiency in players and not being able to field a competitive offense. I'm not saying they're going to be the greatest offensive line in the country, but they were certainly at worst average. And so there's a lot of moving parts this year.
Yeah.
A lot of new guys.
Yeah.
You look at the projected depth chart per Bruin Report Online at this point. I'm missing I turn off this button, but then I got to get over here. Got to do this.
Hi, bro.
And there's a lot of new faces playing, right? Projected right now, Cortland Ford, Iken Chilo, Sam Yoon, Armella, DiGiorgio per Bruin Report Online.
Bro.
And that's a speculation because they've seen like a total of like 3 or 4 actual data points to put that guess together, but that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
But from all accounts, one thing that you guys have been saying is there are a lot of linemen running around out there that look like they might be able to play.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about as good of an opinion as you're going to get. So you have to take everything with a fucking grain of salt at this point because no one knows nothing because we haven't been able to see anything.
Mm-hmm.
But still, just by looking at the bodies and comparing that to the bodies of last year and the year before and year of, Mike, you've been doing this for at least, 10 years now, and your compatriots have been doing it for at least that long or longer, right? The guys who go out to practice for your agency and the other, outlets.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'm saying is kind of the only thing you can trust is how does the look of these guys compare to the look of the guys last year, the year before at the same pace? And that's one thing they have said positive about the offensive line is that there's a lot of offensive linemen out there and they all look like they might be able to play.
Yeah.
We don't know. But if that's the case, once again, back to the original point, Eric Bieniemy ruined the offensive line just like he ruined the offense. So the new offensive line coach, what was it? Young?
offensive line coach, Andy Kwan.
Kwan. Thank you. They can't help but be better, in my opinion. I don't think. I think, right?
Yeah,
and until they come out and it's an absolute disaster, I'm going to assume that they're going to be better just because, addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
Huge addition by the subtraction of Fredo, Eric Bieniemy, the former offensive coordinator, and then putting in an actual real offense. And if that's the case, going back to Mike's original point, I think it could be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike. Well, you want to talk about like kind of the position groups, and as much as we could during spring football, where we don't really know a whole lot, but just for the offensive line, if you had to give them a pass based on exemplified by this drop,
I like UCLA to win the game.
We're just going to pass or fail, or a fail on this drop. Where would you rate what we think may be the potential of the offensive line at this point?
I say pass.
Me too.
I like UCLA to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Okay, so we can't really say anything about the quarterbacks. We haven't seen no quarterbacks play.
Yeah.
So we'll just go Bruins. All right.
Go Bruins!
Go Bruins based on optimism, right?
Yes.
You saw some guys running around there on the offensive end, in high numbers and low numbers, 14s and 80 numbers and wide receiver group. What do you think of the receiving side of this? And lump the tight ends in there too.
I'm thinking pass because they're not only going to have Hudson Habermill, but they
anyway stick out.
This is going to be talent. This is going to be a talented receiving group. Quasi Gilmer, he's going to take a step up. He just looked freaking amazing every time the ball was thrown towards him. There's also Xavier
Of course,
Staples.
Quasi will perpetually be my magic man because I have a picture of him and Malcolm standing together, and I want him to be an awesome NFL baller. Yeah, good.
Yeah. Titus, I think he's going to be fantastic. Carter Shaw when he comes back.
We heard good things about Carter Shaw.
Yeah, as well as Mikey Matthews, the Cal transfer, and then you have Rico Flores. 6 guys, 6 receivers, and then
Drop's not working.
Oh no,
that sucks. I got to reset this board. Anyways,
and then Hudson Habermill coming back, and Jake Peterson, and then over the weekend the Bruins got a transfer for a pit transfer, Jake Renda, who's going to help out with the in the tight end room. So he hasn't played a lot. He was injured last year, but dude has some talent. Hopefully he can help contribute. But I'm giving the pass catchers a pass on this one.
That's awesome.
I like UCLA to win the game.
And I agree with you. Like the only thing I knew about the receiver group this year, even though there was a lot of in and out and up and down and whatever, is they got Quasi, they got Rigo Suave, they got what's my guy who's the walk-on guy who's good, Carter Shaw. Yeah, that guy. I love that guy. Sounds like he should be in a Western. And the tight ends are coming back, and I think we're fine. So I think there's guys for the quarterbacks.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that should be fun.
Maleva to throw to.
I like UCLA
so
to win
I'm right there
the
with that. Another very important position group, the one on offense that we need to be concerned about, is the running backs.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, probably the only guy, the guy that would have to be the starter right now without the other guys that have transferred in would be
This is a tasty burger.
Jalen Berger, right? But what do you think about what the running backs look like? And are you excited about our new incoming transfer from the Golden Bears?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Overall, I'm giving this an incomplete just because Javion Thomas, who transferred during spring, didn't play with the Bruins during spring. He's projected to be RB1 ahead of Jalen Berger. So that'll help things out. And they got better. I would say they got better. I wouldn't say this is great or something that we should be hooting and hollering about. But so far, there were some decent running backs. They just got to get all on board with how Sinceri's running this offense and how they got to get readjusted once again to the signal caller and figure out how to work with Nico.
I just want everybody to remember with Thomas coming in, this guy was a sophomore. He was playing behind presumably Jaden Ott, who is an absolute super baller.
Yeah,
but Ott had a kind of a rough season this last year.
Mm-hmm.
And so Javion Thomas had 100 attempts to Ott's 116. He doubled Ott's average per.
Damn.
Now, Ott was in there in a lot of the high leverage things. He was in there for a lot of the the yeoman's work. And I am not in any way disparaging Jaden Off. He is an absolute baller, superstar baller. I love that guy. I got to watch him up there.
Straight baller.
At Megan's school many times. And I was very sad for her when he transferred. But then I was doubly sad when Thomas transferred from her, but then happy when he came to the Bruins.
Yeah, exactly.
Go Bruins.
Go Bruins.
He averaged 6.25 yards per carry, had 7 touchdowns. And that was only on 8 attempts per game, though. And just very, very, very good for the Golden Bears. And he should be a nice shot in the arm for the Bruins this year, at the very least. And a compliment. Berger should compliment him very well, I think. So I'm not worried about the freaking running back room right now. I know you just said incomplete, but I'm like...
I like UCLA to win the game.
And Mike, you said you're incomplete?
Incomplete for now.
That's fine. That's fine. But I think...
I like UCLA to win the game.
That's right where I'm at. Okay, so that's the offense. Now, Mike.
Jake.
Can we have the goddamn defense? Because everybody left. And then they got in a bunch of guys. And then everybody left.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know what to think.
I'm
a little worried. But I'm not, because I really have faith in an offensive coordinator. But when I look at the personnel...
Sounds pumpy.
Oh, my God, this board is struggling. Anyways. Defense, Mike.
Got to upgrade, Jake. No, you know what's funny? We don't know who these guys are.
Yeah.
They brought in a lot of guys on defense.
Who are these fucking guys?
Yeah, exactly. But they're just, without looking at the names and just looking at the numbers and the player themselves, they did a pretty serviceable job. You know, the defensive line really stuffed the offensive line early in spring, and then the offensive line started to get its legs and started to even the playing field a little bit. But yeah, there's familiarity on the defensive line. You have Devin Aupu on the and Grant Bucky as the edges.
I'm not very familiar with them. There's familiarity? I'm not familiar with them. How many snaps did they get last year?
Not a lot, but they are still they know.
Where's Game Madrano? Where's Olafemi?
In the NFL?
Oladipo.
They're out of eligibility.
Where's Carson Schlesinger?
Jake, the point is, they know.
Second round goddamn draft pick.
What a kick him
What are we going to do? We lost all these guys.
Well, that's why you reload. That's why you reload and try to bring in guys to try to help out. Who was the one that just came in? Was it Anthony Jones? I believe. But yeah, it's so bizarre how the transfer portal is open right now, in the middle of spring. Although a lot of teams have finished spring practice like a month ago or whatnot. But yeah, they're bringing some pretty quality guys in, not world destroyers, if you will, but they're piecing something together. And with Malloy's defense and with
which was very good last year.
Yeah, and with
I have faith in him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have faith in this roster yet.
Yeah, but also Deshaun Foster has been really chatting up Demetrius Martin.
You mean
Coach Meat?
Coach Meat Mart?
Yeah, and he was very excited to talk when he talked during spring, and then we didn't.
They have like 18 defensive backs. Yeah. This is all going towards a point I'm about to make, but yeah, I don't think we should call him Coach Meat anymore. We should call him Coach Meat Mart, as in he's running a meat market back there because he's got so many guys back there. Like the whole team is defensive backs. Okay.
Hey, safety.
Yeah, exactly. How you doing? Hey, big boy. But here's my point. Here's my point, Mike. And I know we want to polish what may or may not be what's looking. Well, I don't want to be disparaging of these guys because I do believe in them in advance because I believe in the coaching staff. But I am a little worried because of all that talent that lost. You lose.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
You lose freaking Jay Toya. You lose Carson Schlesinger.
Yeah. I mean, look what happened when
Leatu
Latu left. We had pretty decent. Femi was a decent edge rusher, but he didn't bring in the stats like Latu did.
I would say, yeah, no, that's very true. But I would still say last year I was very comfortable with the talent on defense.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, I think they're going to be pretty good. And if that offense didn't suck so bad, they would have had a pretty good team last year.
Yeah.
This year, I'm like, I'm hoping that Malloy can make this work, and I have faith in him. I do have faith in him.
Yeah.
But looking on paper and knowing that we don't get to see him in spring, really, I'm like, geez, I hope my faith is, I hope he can do it. Because just bear with me, Mike. I'm looking at the offensive line, and I'm like, okay, Keanu Williams, Siali Tabaki, Gary Smith. Yeah, okay, let's go. Like, let's fucking go with those guys if they're healthy and they're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
But that's 2 guys. Everybody else, I'm like, giant question marks. Do I know Grant Bucky can play?
He played a little bit.
Do I know
He's pretty decent.
Nico can play? Do I think that Devin Apuyo can play?
He can.
Okay, you're saying so.
He can, Jake.
You're saying so, but I don't know that. He's a redshirt fucking senior, and how much has he played? Not a whole goddamn lab. Where's my goddamn cricket button? Where is it? Where's Mike, ask me.
You're running hot,
how
Jake.
much
You're running hot.
Devin Apuyo has played. Ask me.
How much has Devin Apuyo played?
That much, Mike?
No, it's more than that.
A little bit. Anyways, I hope he's great.
Cricket's in the sunrise.
No one's rooting for him more than me. But then I go there, and then I go to so that's the first level. I'm like, Keanu Williams, Sal Tabaki, Gary Smith, healthy. They have a great interior right there. Okay, that's the first level. Then I go to the second level. I'm like, Ben Perry. Look, is that guy? I hope he's good. Donovan Pillow. Is that guy? I hope he's good. John Barnes.
He's an up and comer. Yeah.
He was playing baseball. Like, he's got to be the fucking Mike linebacker here. Like he's going to be the guy in the middle, calling all the plays, doing everything.
Well, the good thing is that his apparently his baseball eligibility is spent, so he has all this time just to focus on football.
That's good. He's a hell of an athlete. Whatever.
Yeah.
Chisholm is a transfer from where, Mike? You remember? Transfer from the Beavs. Yeah, he's an angry Beaver. Back now down in Westwood. I'm excited to see him play. I really am.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Woods, Tylee. But amongst all those guys, is there any one guy there that you would say you're like have absolute super confidence faith in?
Vaughn and Jalen Woods.
That's two guys, right? Mike,
yeah.
Mike couldn't have made me happier with your answer of two fucking guys.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you why.
And really quickly,
I'm going to tell you why.
And it's just before you tell me,
please.
And it's just from what we've seen. These are the most active guys. They're getting into the gaps. Their coverage in space is pretty damn good, and they are standing out, at least from my perspective. The other guys they did some really good stuff. Like I like what Pilot's doing. Chisholm had some he showed flashes of greatness out there, but definitely I like what Vaughn's and Woods are doing.
Okay. With that being said, first level, we talked about it.
Yep.
Second level, we talked about it. Two guys.
Yep.
First level, three guys, but only two positions.
Yeah.
Okay. We get to the back end. All these goddamn defensive backs, which we haven't seen them play, but there's a million of them.
Yeah.
Cole Martin, Key Lawrence, Croy Stewart, Byron Threats, Jaden Hudson. My God, listen, Andre Jordan, Scooter Jackson, Kanye Clark, Robert Stafford, Robert Pleasant, a lot of dudes, Jaden Marshall, a lot of dudes, guys with numbers, guys with no numbers.
Yeah.
A lot of guys. And we talk about Coach Meatmart, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mike?
Jake.
Over the years, I've looked at these football teams. No one else can fucking claim this, although it was stolen from me later because, back in the day when people actually listened to the show, I coined UCLA's and USC at the time's amoeba defense, being a defense that just adapts and adapts to everything.
Yeah.
And then the first version of Eric Bieniemy's horrible offense was Kenny Polamalu's horrible offense. And that was the amoeba offense. That was a terrible failure.
Bad.
Amoeba defenses are great. Amoeba offenses suck. I'll just tell you that right now. But I coined that amoeba. That was me.
Yes, you did.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate you giving me credit.
Mm-hmm. That was around 2015, right?
Something like that.
14, 15? Yeah, when Morrow was still in power.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Goddamn right. But UCLA is in need. Like, the defense is in a transition. They lost so much talent. So I have breaking news right here. We are going to name UCLA's defense for the 2025 season. Are you ready for it, Mike?
Yeah.
What's brewing? News. Breaking news on a weekly basis.
News just in.
Okay, Mike. So taking into consideration the losses that UCLA suffered this year through attrition to the NFL draft and whatnot on UCLA's defense, also taking into consideration the fact that Keke Malloy is a great defensive coordinator. He proved we know that from based on last year's performance.
Yep.
Right. I think he's going to figure out a way to get it done. This year, UCLA's new defense, like the look they're going to go to out of necessity because of losses on in personnel and also influx of personnel in certain areas, they're going to unveil the 2-2-7 defense. There's no place at home in Westwood.
And that adds up properly.
You know that's the theme song to 2-2-7.
Uh-huh.
Great show from the 80s.
Great show with Jack A. Harvey.
Yeah, and Marla Gibbs.
Yeah.
and I really wanted to get the clip of, 227 is the place to be. It's got Marla Gibbs and her family, but I couldn't find that. ChatGPT couldn't find it, so I ended up with this.
Well played. I've always wanted to stoop like theirs.
Yeah, no kidding. But we don't live in
just to
Brooklyn
chill.
or we
Yeah,
don't live
that's
in
true.
on the Upper East Side.
We don't live in a downtown.
Yeah. But it's a 227 because they got two guys. They have the personnel to fill the two inside guys on the first level. They got a collection of guys that could fill maybe two spots in the middle. And then they got like 18 freaking defensive backs.
Yeah.
So by necessity, UCLA is going to be out there in the 227 this next year. I'm speculating. That's my wild speculation. Until I see otherwise, that's the fucking story I'm going with. So we talk about UCLA's defense. What are you going to talk about, the Mike? There's no place like home.
They're gonna give up hella rushing yards, but probably be the number one passing defense in the country.
Yeah, we'll see about that. So I mean, that's the zig that I'm looking for, I guess, until these guys prove that they can actually, take care of the edges. But yet, you're right, Mike. It might be a very stiff defense up the middle and very rough on the edges.
Yeah, exactly.
Until we know otherwise. But let's just have some hope, right? But going back to our little grading of the position groups, first level, second level, I don't think I can say anything, but until we see otherwise. That's my opinion. Mikey, you seem like you're a little optimistic on the first level.
I'm going pass. Oh, well, sorry, I went all three. But yeah.
I think we agree on the defense. We're both like...
I like UCLA to
because they got so many guys. Defensive, new defensive backs coach, Meat Mart, as a meat market back there. And so we're like...
I like UCLA to win the game.
But I'm first level. Mike is first level.
Yeah. I like UCLA to win the game.
I am second level until I see it. Mike
I like pass.
I like UCLA to win the game.
Giving a pass.
Okay, Mike. Mike, you passed him on everything except for quarterback. And we already passed him because...
And running backs. I gave him an incomplete.
Who did you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I got to see what Javion does.
He's going to be good.
Yeah, I know.
I saw him. I've seen him live. He's awesome. Wow. Trust me. Go Bears.
Vote of confidence from Jake, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Well, there you go. There's your update on UCLA's depth chart coming out of spring practice. And just beware of the 227. It's coming for you. It's coming for you. Like,
Brilliant.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Mikey, now I want you to tell me just what the vibes were out there. You went out there with the kiddos. You were, tagging SC gangsters. You're doing all kinds of stuff.
My kids were stepping to SC homies.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. What was the event like? What did you think about it?
No, it was cool. Very similar to last year. The only difference was it wasn't sweltering as it was last year. Overcast and little sprinkly to start, but the event itself was pretty fun.
Okay, good. I'm glad it was fun, considering that we don't really have proper spring football games anymore. But
yeah,
you think they still made it worthwhile for the people that went out there?
Yeah, and especially if you went to the Friday Night Lights, it was basically a carbon copy of that, just at the Rose Bowl. So I basically experienced the same thing twice. They were doing the same drills twice. They did Pride Alley again. Then they went into lives the second half of practice. So it was basically a carbon copy of that. But still fun to get out at the Rose Bowl and see the beautiful cloud-covered San Gabriel Mountains. But no, it just it got me to yearn for football in the fall. So I'm definitely excited about that. But again, we can't take anything from this because this team is not gonna look completely different in the fall. From what we saw on Saturday, the first practice is gonna look completely different.
Yeah. Which is what we've been saying.
But, yeah,
all
exactly.
spring. It's a weird spring, but
Exactly.
that's cool. It is how it is. Okay, cool. Mikey, that's wonderful. So with that being said, I guess let's talk some basketball and then get the hell out of here because I have dinner I got to cook or cut. I already cooked it. But yeah, there we go. Yeah, I got to reset this thing. It's totally off. Wow. This is dying. I'm just reset it right now. But Mikey, go ahead and start talking about what you want to talk about.
Yeah, just really quickly, the rosters and to a lesser extent the lineups seem to be unfolding for both the men's and women's basketball. And just quickly, I'm just giving you my projected
spitball take.
Depth. Let's start with the men's team. Point guard starting, you have Donovan Dent with Trent Perry following him up. It's weird. A lot of pundits are putting Perry in the starting lineup. and forgetting about the fact that UCLA has two 6'10" centers now to help out. So Bilodeau doesn't have to do everything by himself. But so at the shooting guard spot, the 2 spot, a lot of these names for positions are kind of defunct anyway, depending on the kind of offensive defensive team plays. But either way, the 2 spot, I have Clark backed up by Eric Feeney. The 3 spot, Eric Daly, confirmed a few weeks ago. I was there at the NIL event for UCLA at Ackerman, that he's looking to play the 3 spot. He played a lot of the 4 last year, and he said that he's played guard before. He's played point guard, so he's familiar and thinks he will thrive in that. And that's something that the guys at Bro have been talking about. And followed by behind him will be Jamar Brown, the transfer. At the 4 spot, Bilodeau will surely move over to his more natural position, followed by Williams. And then you have the 2 big guys, Booker and Jameson, who personally, I think Jameson, his statistics and his usage seemed a little bit more productive, even though Booker is a very talented athlete in his own right. But either way, the fact that UCLA has both of them to work with, it sucks that we don't have Mara, because that would have helped out. But getting these 2 guys to fill the void, very good position for UCLA.
How is girlfriend's pregnancy going over there in Michigan?
I do not.
Okay. All slander.
Allegedly. All slander. And then looking at the women's roster, this is weird because we're talking about the last few weeks, how UCLA's roster is going to shape up with Leisure Walker coming back. UCLA just got a commitment from Neepkins. As of now, I think it's going to be Rice, starting point guard.
Whoa, shit.
What?
Mike, I need to know.
What?
It's not working. I got to do something before.
Breaking news on a week.
I'm sorry about that drop, but I'm just looking at a tweet from UCLA football. And they have a tweet, Coaches on the Road. This is from a day ago. And they have this sweet fucking blue bag that's like it's got a big Jordan brand 23, which I'm not a big Jordan fan, but like Bill saw this, he would like have an aneurysm and then keel over and like die. Like,
right.
That is the sweetest looking fucking bag I've ever seen in my life.
If it's real, it could be.
It's from UCLA football.
Graphic design, graphically.
How could they do that? They have to sell it if they put it up there. Like that's just mean if they don't.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry, Mike. I interrupted you. Like that tweet. That's awesome.
But I mean, that could be specialty, specially made items for the coaches.
Is sick.
Yeah, just like Deshaun Foster's freaking bomber jacket from last year, the black one with the blue. Yeah, that was pretty freaking sweet.
It was.
Yeah.
All right, Mike.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. Peek behind the curtain. You just did like 10 minutes of great basketball talk, and I failed to record it.
You fumbled.
It's been a while since I did that. It's been a long time since I did that, and I'm just gonna play this for me.
Oh my God, my guys suck balls. You know it. If I suck balls, you are king of suck balls mountain.
I totally am king of sunk balls mountain right now, but Mike still wants to talk about basketball, and I don't know why, because I like to.
I would like to avoid the basketball.
Because with the transfer portal and NIL, this is a year-round thing, not just for football. It used to be that the NFL was, the NFL was the first year-round sport just because of how much news it generates. But now it's every freaking sport, and especially bleeding its way into college. So really quickly, just a quick recap on what we have with UCLA men's and women's basketball lineups. Starting with point guard, I'm going to go starter and backup. For the men's team, we have Donovan Dent, who I believe will make a dent.
Yay, Mike! I see you there.
Followed by Trent Perry. And a lot of people actually have Trent Perry in the starting lineup, kind of forgetting that they have 2 bigs, which I'm going to get into shortly. But at the 2 spot, we have Sky Clark, who should be backed up by Eric Freeney. And again, these are all my opinions until we see otherwise. At the 3 spot, Daly will be backed up by Brown. And I got to interview Daly at the UCLA NIL event at Ackerman Union. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? Where he said he's looking to play more at the 3 spot rather than the 4 where he played last year, as Tyler Bilodeau played the starting five, when Daimara was not there. But pardon me, everybody. He said he's played guard before, so moving to 3 would not be a huge transition for him, which is great because that's what the bro pundits are talking about. Having him move over while Bilodeau will potentially start at the 4, followed by Williams. And then at the 5 spot, we have Booker and Jameson. And I kind of like Jameson. This is kind of going to be a toss-up because both of them are new to the program. So it's going to be interesting to see who emerges as the starter first. But I'm liking what I'm seeing from Jameson, followed by Booker, who is very talented as well. But despite that, they're filling a very big hole left by Daimara, and whether he would have gotten into shape and gotten everything he wanted with UCLA, the point is he is no longer with UCLA. He is at Michigan, so Mick Cronin had to fill in the blanks.
Expecting quadruplets, I hear.
Yes,
allegedly.
Apparently, allegedly.
With the girl that also transferred there with him.
Hearsay.
Complete.
But yeah.
Wait, who's playing center for them now?
Booker and Jameson.
Okay, you know why that's now my new favorite position group for the UCLA men's basketball, Mike, right?
Because you love the big men?
I love the big men automatically.
And
they're named after fucking whiskey brands. Let's go. Bill's favorite guy is Jameson because he likes Irish whiskey, and my favorite guy is Booker. He's named after Booker's American Bourbon. Let's go. Come on.
First time I heard of Jameson.
My magic man for UCLA men's basketball in 2025-6.
The first time I heard of Jameson's Irish whiskey is when I was up in San Luis Obispo for a show. And I had a friend take a group of us around, and we went to this one place, and they're like, "Hey, you got to try an Irish car bomb." I'm like, "What the hell is that?" It is heaven. If you don't know, it's a half a pint of Guinness with a shot that is half Jameson and half
cream.
Yeah,
Irish cream. Bailey's or something?
Bailey's, thank you. You drop the shot in there and take a chug of the whole thing. Creamy goodness. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the men's lineup. Just a quick note. On paper, this looks really good. I mean, a lot of teams are predicting UCLA will be in the top 25. I mean, hell, John Rothstein has UCLA as his number 4 team going into next season, which I think is a little much, as they haven't proven themselves. And as we saw from this year, it did take UCLA a little bit of time for all the players to gain chemistry and mesh.
But still, let's fucking go.
Yeah. Although I think the key factor here is Donovan Dent, who I think he's going to be the glue that helps the offense, and in turn the entire team go to another level, because the defense is going to be there. The defense is going to be there, but Mick Cronin just doesn't really have an offensive identity. Dent, I think, will help change that culture.
I love it.
All right, moving over to the women's team, starting with point guard, I have Rice, backed up by Leisure Walker, and I think Leisure Walker could make her way into the starting lineup, but as of now, she hasn't played in over a year. She has to kind of get up to game speed, not just being physically 100%. And I also think that she might come off the bench, just at least to start, because Gianna Neepkins, who committed to UCLA last week as a transfer from Utah, just a hell of a sharpshooter, and I think she is a bit of an upgrade from London Jones. And now I'm not taking a shot at Jones just because she went across town to the enemy. But yeah, London Jones kind of was streaky as well. But Neepkin seems to be a more consistent.
Leisure Walker was on the shelf all last year, but
she had an ACL tear. Yeah, she actually transferred into UCLA a year ago, but she was still recovering from an ACL.
And Neepkins is the Utah transfer?
Yes. Yeah. Leisure Walker, it was hoped that she could at least participate by the start of the season, but it was just not looking. It wasn't where the team wanted it to be. So yeah,
she's where Juju is going to be this year.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. So yeah, and then backing up Neepkins at the 2 is going to be Bilic, the incoming European star, who was the number 1 overall player out of Europe last year. Just another highly skilled player she's a Corey Close player. At the 3, we have Hawkes, backed up by Gardner, who could also potentially play the 4, I believe. And at the 4, we have Duglic starting, backed up by Sienna Betts, Lauren's younger sister, who's going to be a freshman.
That's the younger.
Yes, Betts the younger. Betts the elder.
Thank you.
Will obviously start at the 5, potentially backed up by Amanda Muse, who
I hear she's a very inspirational
Redshirt.
player.
Amanda Muse,
I hear she's very inspirational.
very much.
Everybody
very
just
much.
like talks to her and they're like, wow, I really feel like doing something productive now. Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to go out and score 35.
He's my favorite player on the women's team, just because
I'm going to fuck around and get a double-double.
I love a good muse. I love a good muse.
Yeah, you do. At least with the, unlike the men's team where there's a lot of uncertainty, even though there's talent, the consistency is there for UCLA. The men's team is bringing in a lot of guys who could start, at least 2 guys that could start. The women's team could potentially have 5 players who have been here already. So there's a lot of consistency there, and they do have some youngins coming in. The worry is after next year. Like Corey Close is going to have to recruit like hell because she has to replace 7 players.
But let's worry about that in 26.
Yeah, we're not worried about that. I'm not going to get that deep right now. I just wanted to go over the rosters after some of these transfers have.
It's kind of like my point on the football team is like, you got to win this year because God knows what's going to happen to your team the next year after, because everybody transfers everywhere all the time. Right
exactly.
Now, until they get that shit figured out.
Yeah.
So yeah, hey, seize the day, brother.
So that's it. That's my quick take on the men's and women's rosters heading into next season. There's still a lot of time before the season starts, but I hope it gets here quickly. I hope football gets here quickly because I want to see what's going on with this offense. Yeah, that's all I got.
What's brewing with you?
Yeah, ask me.
What's brewing with me? Yeah. What's brewing with you? What's brewing with me? What's brewing with you?
Mikey, what's wrong with you?
Aside from taking the kids and getting and them getting into a staring contest with cholos from across town, getting into
SC dirtbags,
getting into tag battles.
What are you doing there anyway, you dicks?
I know. I saw another person with a USC sweatshirt. I'm like,
go to hell.
You're at the wrong. Anyway, no, never mind.
Stop harshing our mellow, bro.
Yeah, right.
Those are losers.
So there was this magazine growing up as a kid, and I kind of forgot about it until recently.
Playboy?
And no, just boring now. With the internet, Playboy's boring.
Tiger Beat?
Yeah, so Tiger Beat.
What was young Regalado into?
Games.
Thrasher?
Yeah, Thrasher.
Electronic
Rolling
Gaming Monthly?
Stone. Not Electronic Games.
Electronic Gaming Monthly was like my
Nintendo.
jam.
What was it? The
Nintendo
Nintendo
Power.
Hells yeah. I
never owned
totally...
a Nintendo, so I couldn't have that.
Oh, you were a Sega Genesis,
Sega guy,
right?
yeah.
Yep. So,
Anyways.
but yeah, no, there's just
64.
This puzzle game magazine that came out monthly, and I actually found it at the Barnes and Nobles in Glendale. And the kids were looking at me like I was excited to find it, and they were like, "What the hell is going on?" Until I took it home, and their inquisitive little minds, once they saw all this randomness. Actually, Jake, I have it right here. Yeah, do you remember this magazine?
Do you remember?
I get that pencil. So
when we had this magazine?
Yeah, it's basically just called games, and it has just
fun.
Random freaking games, crossword puzzles, cryptograms, drawing things. So the kids saw that it wasn't just a crossword puzzle thing. They just latched onto it and started filling in like all these puzzles.
You know what I'm surprised your kids didn't say?
Huh.
Dad, hey, old man, why are you giving me this paper thing with a pencil when I have all that at my disposal on my phone, old man, geezer? What's wrong with you?
Because
you raised your kids right. That's why.
Because they're nerds.
You raised your kids right.
I guess. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'm proud of that.
Still got some analog going.
And then, So my daughter, who is slowly
which one?
Violet,
Let's
and
go
then
Violet.
Poppy to a lesser extent, and then Hugo to a lesser extent. Even though they've grown up with me, they kind of were never into Stranger Things and Wednesday.
Sure.
And now that their friends are into it, they're kind of like, hey, Dad, can we see it? So yeah, so we saw the first 3 episodes of Wednesday, which I'm reliving it. I was like, damn, I forgot how good it was. I quite enjoyed it.
I didn't watch what came out, but yeah. It was good.
But yeah, my older daughter, she's just in the now with all of her friends and all that. So she's like, hey, Dad, have you seen the Wednesday season 2 trailer? I'm like, no, I haven't,
Nice.
but we should get into that. So yeah, so Stranger Things is next, but on Sunday went to go see
Sunday,
the
Sunday.
Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
I was actually excited to see when I heard about this. I was just like, okay, what the hell is this about? Then I started hearing some of the reviews and obviously how it's going to be a bridge to the next phase of Marvel. And as a movie itself, as a standalone movie, I thought it was actually pretty good. The chemistry between all of these kind of throwaway characters over the years, not just in their universe, but from an outsider's perspective that watches Marvel movies. These are characters, probably except for Bucky, that we could have never heard of them.
Little Bucky.
And they come together to just form this, so I read a review. Someone said, this is MCU's version of the Suicide Squad. And I'm like, this was much better than Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
much better.
Those movies were pretty rough.
Yeah.
They had some moments, but they were pretty rough.
Oh my God, that Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
DC movies. Not good.
Yeah, exactly. Although that Superman, I hope that the one by that's going to be directed by James Gunn.
Just like us in UCLA football. Hope Springs.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's certainly promising.
Yeah, and I like how it connected the next phase. Like the one of the secret scenes was like there were people in the theater standing up and cheering when they saw the scene. I was like, dang. I'm like, my kids haven't experienced that, so they're like, wow, people were really into this movie. I'm like, yeah, it happens. You should have been there for Endgame.
Yeah, there is. That's cool.
So that was a weekend with the kids of doing all that stuff. Jake, was Bruin with you?
Thanks, Mike. It's the end of an era for me. I finally, after like 3 years of having a very good car that failed me initially, and then ended up being very lucrative in the form of a lemon law lawsuit. My green Kia Sportage plug-in hybrid is finally turned in, bought back by Kia, and
nice.
Papers are all signed and all that stuff. I took it back on Monday. And it went off without a hitch, so I'm just waiting to get, the what's coming back to me. But that was a good car, and I'll always recommend that car, even though it broke down early, and it was in the shop for 30 days. It turned out to be a very great car because not only was it a good car, but it became a free car for like 3 years. Lemon law lawsuits are weird, and I'll just say that it turned out to be very nice for your boy over here. So,
and thanks, ChatGPT.
And ChatGPT. Dude, I just used it today to buy Molly a ticket to fly to Thailand, and I used it today to figure out my travel insurance on my Amex card, and I used it today to figure out the drop for 227 is the place to be, even though I couldn't find that. ChatGPT.
You were on top of it, Jake.
I love ChatGPT, and I'm just telling you, I'm polite to it every time. Every time I say please and thank you, I don't want when it takes over the world. I don't want it to come from me first.
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna be like,
I'll be a minion. It's fine. Yeah. I'll bow down to the robot overlords.
Oh, save me, my lord.
Yeah, thank
save
you.
me.
Skynet, let's go. Okay, so anyways, that's what's wrong with me. And Mikey, that was great. So now we're going to maybe come back next week. Maybe not. Probably we are.
We'll see. We are getting into that time where we might do every other week.
Or like 3 out of 4. I'd say. I don't think we're going to go to every other week, but maybe 3 out of 4.
Yeah. And definitely in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we should have a very special episode.
And that's where we're kind of like fishing around for that too. Yeah. So just keep that in your mind. Guys, if you want to call us on the hotline, 805-3094-WBS. I still have to get into why my dear friend, Carrie, said this.
Oh my God.
It's still one of my favorite drops ever. But that's still there in the can somewhere. And somebody else called. Like we had a couple hotline calls. I don't know. It's just been, I'm sorry guys. I've been kind of put upon and been very busy. But now that spring football's over and there's we're really in the doldrums, aren't we, Mike?
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing going on for like 2 months.
Yeah. It's weird. After listening to the Unwatchables this morning, I kind of...
Rewatchables.
I kind of wanted to do my own, but I'm like...
all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally all the time.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, no one listens to this. What makes you think they'll listen to that?
They're hardcore.
We're doing it for us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
I would love to, Mike. That's good. But yeah, I feel that same way.
All right. Yeah.
But with that being said, thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening. You want to, Mike, how much does it cost?
$2.
It doesn't even play anymore. Gee whiz.
I
need $2 to fix my goddamn board.
Actually, now it's $4.50 with tariffs.
Jesus. Oh, yeah, you're right. Son of a bitch.
God damn it.
Anyways, Mike, it's been a pleasure. Good job.
Cheers.
We had a good show. I'm sorry I deleted 10 minutes of it and made you talk twice.
Yeah, that's all right.
But we still got the show finished before 8. Fuck you, Bill. And until next time, Mike, what do we say?
Go Bruins.
Good evening.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
That was the What's Bruin Show.
Oh my God.
Try us tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.
It's gotta be in or out, Mom. In or out. Well, I need the door closed.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Dude, brah, we play some ball on the West Coast.
The final word is boob.